I would say to the House, as I said to those who have joined the government, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat. You ask, what is our policy? I will say, it is to wage war by sea, land, and air, with all our might, and with all the strength that God can give us, to wage war against a monstrous tyranny never surpassed in the dark and lamentable catalogue of human crime. That is our policy. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word, victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of all terror. Victory however long and hard the road may be. For without victory there is no survival. Let that be realized.
Today, into this interdependent world has come a threatening force, the force of aggressive communism. It is cunning. It is godless. It aims to destroy all freedom, and most of all, yours and mine, because America is its final and chief target.
Because I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
This is Walter Cronkite with the CBS Evening News. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated today in the 46th year of his life and his third year as President of the United States.
Tonight, there is violence in our streets, corruption in our highest offices, aimlessness amongst our youth, anxiety among our elders, and there's a virtual despair among the many who look beyond material success for the inner meaning of their lives. Small men seeking great wealth or power have too often and too long turned even the highest levels of public service into mere personal opportunity.
Anti-war demonstrators protest U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War in mass marches, rallies, and demonstrations.
There would be nothing of value remaining by the time the communist tanks rolled into Saigon 2 hours later and stormed the presidential palace.
For pregnancy, only the woman and her physician may decide whether she may have an abortion.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
All of us must learn to waste less energy.
Gas lines at many stations were a lot longer than normal. The longer the line and waiting time, the angrier some motorists became.
We can leave our children with an unrepayable massive debt and a shattered economy, or we can leave them liberty in a land where every individual has the opportunity to be whatever God intended us to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
There has been an assassination attempt on President Reagan.
If you did run for president, you believe you'd win?
Think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life.
When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
What it basically means is to change the perception of reality to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
In America today, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is inevitably linked to a computer.
This is a 21st century bicycle that amplifies a certain intellectual ability that man has.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare.
The skies over Baghdad have been illuminated. We're seeing bright flashes going off all over the sky.
Dramatic videotape obtained by Channel 5 News shows what appears to be a group of LAPD officers beating a suspect.
You can
can see them carrying stuff out of the electronics supply. We were coming to check a fire that's directly under us right now when we saw all of these people going in there. You can see the flames going across. I think that new building there is definitely in danger.
The purpose of affirmative action is to give our nation a way to finally address the systemic exclusion of individuals of talent on the basis of their gender or race from opportunities to develop, perform, achieve, and contribute.
The presumed vehicle of O.J. Simpson is still traveling very slowly northbound along the 5 freeway.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time.
I agree that it's very admirable that you have stayed together, that you've worked your problems out, that you seem to have reached some sort of an understanding and an arrangement.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're looking at two people who love each other. This is not an arrangement or an understanding. This is a marriage. That's a very different thing.
The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Customers are freaked out, waiting to see how low the Dow will go.
The idea is to absorb the bad debts that banks have built up as the housing market has gone down.
And that means that no matter how we reform healthcare, we will keep this promise. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period.
We undo the damage that the Republicans have done by restoring balance. And we do it by adding 4 seats to the court to create a 13-member Supreme Court.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Slavery, genocide, and war. 5, 6, 7, 8. America was never great.
I really believe this is why God gave us 2 arms, one for the flu shot and the other one for the COVID shot.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
I can't. Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The start of Pride Month. Here's what I got going in my classroom. I pledge allegiance to the queers.
We want to make sure that everyone knows that all are welcome here.
Pride isn't a place, it's a feeling of being proud. The pride flag represents being proud of who you are.
Through the decades, we've seen ruthless attacks on the American family. The denigration of conservative values has been relentless. The erosion of America's founding principles has led our nation to the brink. But Turning Point USA is fighting back and winning. Together, we can save America for our children and the next generation. Every day, Turning Point USA is changing the hearts and minds of millions of Americans, restoring the culture we once cherished, resurrecting values long forgotten, and taking strides to bring back the American family, American values, the American dream, and the American way of life. We can't do this alone. Only together and united, we can win.
Thank you for having the guts to stand and fight to save this country, to stand and fight to defend the Constitution, to stand and fight to defend the Bill of Rights, to stand and fight to restore the United States of America. God bless you, and God bless Turning Point.
Well, look at how one of the country's biggest grassroots conservative groups is raking in some big bucks and using culture wars to flex their political muscle. When Turning Point first started, they really focused on colleges and speaking events on the campaign trail, going after what they said were the quote-unquote woke policies of progressive professors.
Charlotte Kirk was a big part of that. He presents himself first as a kind of political celebrity, somebody that young kids can really, really latch onto and who can guide them and also inspire them.
Turning Point USA is the most important organization taking America back one campus, one school at a time.
We cannot allow our children to be indoctrinated by this racist hatred, where our children are grown up to not just hate us, hate America, and hate the flag, but hate themselves.
We as Americans must understand that it's a gift we get to live in the United States of America, a gift from God that we get to be Americans. the freest, most prosperous, greatest nation ever to exist. America has always been focused on eternal principles rooted in the natural law. We as conservatives, we are people that want to conserve the good, the true, and the beautiful against those that want to try and destroy it.